President and CEO of ELFA, Leigh Lytle.
Don't you know that there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see such a packed room. I'm sure you're all here to see me. But before we bring out the main event, I did want to share a few words with you all, just to get started. So when you have kids, everyone tells you it takes a village to raise them. And my parents built the most incredible village. I grew up surrounded by family and friends. And every year, my parents threw a banger of a St. Patrick's Day party. The older we got, the later we were allowed to stay, before we had to walk down the block to my grandma's house and go to bed. My parents really prioritized their friendships as adults, and it's a legacy that they've handed to me. I'm still very close with my 12 best girlfriends from Santa Clara University, and each year when we get together, we listen to that song that I just walked out to, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. So it was special for me to walk onto it today. Now, everyone who's a part of this industry knows that it's an incredible community. And they also know that community doesn't happen by accident. You've got to be a villager if you want a village. In this industry, people give freely of their time and talents, and that lifts everybody up. When I took this job about 2 years ago, I knew it would be a great professional challenge. But what I did not anticipate was the amazing community that I would be joining. Many of my colleagues have become close personal friends. Most of all, James, our board chair, who I had the privilege of working with over the past year and who has been a North Star. It's been so amazing working with him because he's open to change, willing to take risks, and he puts up with all of my stream of consciousness texts at 6 p.m. on a Friday. That's why I want to spend this morning talking about how we preserve what makes this industry so special, while also taking advantage of the opportunities being created by innovation and change. But before I do, there are a few people I want to thank. Our sponsors, our amazing exhibitors, and the team at ELFA for making all of this happen, and in such a beautiful location too. And this time, the weather even cooperated. Last year, I went to a conference in Sydney, Australia, and Julie said I had to meet Richie and Alex while I was there. These two guys who had started a company called Valiant. I went along to their offices, and over a cup of coffee, I heard all about this platform that they'd built to connect lenders with small businesses. Now, I had just come from working in tech, so it was exciting for me to be back in an open office buzzing with whiteboarding and people sketching out new ideas huddled together. But Richie and Alex had no connections in this industry. They're just two guys who saw a problem for small businesses and realized technology could help fix it. As part of the Valiant platform, they're using AI to get loans approved faster, and they're now live in Australia and Europe and the UK and here in the US. So when I got back to the US, I got back in touch with Richie and Alex. As part of our mission at the association to provide more education to members about technology and AI, I asked them if they'd be willing to share their experience. And they jumped at the chance and offered to come and run a series of webinars which covered everything from the very basics, how to write a prompt for ChatGPT, all the way through to how to incorporate AI into your business model. They gave so freely of their time and their talents, and it reminded me of the people who have been there for me as I've learned the ropes in this industry. Kirk Phillips, who let me tag along with him for my first funding conference at all of the Wintrust meetings. Rick Remaker, who has shared all sorts of war stories with me. And Debbie Devasi Babu, who provided encouragement to me at a time when I needed it most. And of course, I can't forget Steve White, whose sense of humor is both maybe our greatest asset and our greatest liability, but also who consistently sends me texts before 6 a.m. So I don't know if this guy ever sleeps. Now, we know technology is important, but it's the generosity of spirit that's at the core of this industry. And that's what we need to preserve as we move forward. Finance is a relationships business. And I know you've been working with many of your borrowers for decades, and they keep coming back to you because they know you understand them and you will be a true partner to them. Together, we need to figure out how to keep the depth of personal relationships and deliver that customer experience that people have come to expect living in a digital world. And we are trying to create that for you, our members. Preserve the relationships while delivering a high-tech experience. So by the end of this year, we will have launched our new website. It's AI native, and it will serve up content that's unique to you, your preferences, and your business needs. So for example, if you're interested in private capital or educational opportunities, your newsfeed will highlight the stories that matter to you. It's important to me that we're leading by example and using technology to ensure that we give you all the best possible experience. So on the topic of private capital, it's not just innovation and technology that are reshaping our industry. Macro trends are changing how we do business and what the future holds. 2024 was a record year for our industry, and we have had a great 2025 so far. But I think everyone in this room can agree that the current US market is characterized by uncertainty. Momentum has been tempered by tariffs, trade wars, and geopolitical instability. Chaos is the pace, but like a trader, I actually kind of enjoy that level of volatility. I'm a glass half full person, and I like to find opportunity in the crazy. The current volatility has been compounded by government shutdown, which is impeding access to data, and the most recent jobs report was withheld, adding to a lack of clarity about the path ahead. The risks to the independence of the Federal Reserve, my former employer, are only adding to the sense of political and economic uncertainty in the US. So the current scene is on a backdrop of an economy that's faced multiple challenges over the past 5 years. When the pandemic upended global supply chains, demand soared and prices followed, pushing inflation to levels not seen in 4 decades. So I think we can agree that most of these geopolitical and economic forces are well beyond our control, but that doesn't mean that they're insurmountable. In the absence of official data and in the face of uncertainty, we are committed to giving you the information that will help you steer your businesses through the challenges. So that's why providing members with access to data and insights continues to be a top priority. But we couldn't do that without you, without your support or your expertise. So our monthly CapEx Finance Index is just one example. It's a timely measure of demand for equipment and software in the US economy, and it gives us a real snapshot of what's happening in the broader economy as well. With the current vacuum of data, this is an important insight for businesses and a way to position our industry as a thought leader. As I look ahead to 2026, we're enhancing our data infrastructure, improving our offerings, so that you have access to reliable, real-time analysis on our industry and the broader economy, right when you need it. Another trend that we've noticed is that the economy-wide surge in private capital has led to increased interest in our industry. Private capital firms have taken note of the stable returns on offer. But here's the thing. Change doesn't have to be a bad thing. As the Trump administration looks to onshore manufacturing, the shifting roles between banks and private enterprise creates opportunity. Private capital providers recognize the critical role that we all play in the American economy, and we're inviting them into the fold so that we can continue to build those relationships and offer businesses the liquidity that they need. So there will be more conferences, and we will continue to expand our investor membership class in 2026. Managing change is all about how you navigate through it and find the opportunities that others might have missed. For the women in the room, it's like finding the new with tags Chanel bag on the rail for a steal. So a few months ago, I was at a roundtable event with a bunch of other trade association CEOs. And I'll have to admit, I felt a bit like an outsider. I'm not a DC native. I've spent most of my life in Kansas and San Francisco, not two more different places that you can imagine. But I was so curious to see how my industry peers were handling the current uncertainty. You know, honestly, they seemed unsure of how to move forward in an environment with so many unknowns. But that's a big takeaway from my time in tech. It's all about charting a path forward with limited information. And one of the things I'm most proud about this year was finding opportunity and delivering wins on tax and regulation. We secured historic tax policy advances with permanent interest deductibility and 100% expensing, which will encourage businesses to make vital investments in equipment and technology. We have publicly advocated, both in the press and on the Hill, for the government to scrap Section 1071, which continues to put undue burden on our members. A few weeks ago, it was announced that compliance under 1071 has been delayed by a year, and the rule is not being enforced. Meanwhile, we're in active conversations with the CFPB as they draft the new proposed rule, which we expect to drop any minute. We are brokering conversations in the rooms that matter. And we're going to make sure, frankly, that we don't need to equip you all with talking points on 1071 for next year's Capital Connections. When it comes to tax and regulation, we saw a window of opportunity and we seized it. But most importantly, you all showed up. At Capital Connections, more than 200 of our members made it through security to trudge through the halls of Congress and convince both staffers and senators alike to drive forward change. I'm going to close with our exciting news about the CLFP. A highlight of my work as CEO has been meeting Reed Rakovich, an industry veteran who has been the CEO of the Certified Lease and Finance Professional Foundation for 13 years. When I met Reed, I knew we were going to work together. She was absolutely fearless. She took on the role of leading the CLFP at a time when its future was uncertain, and she rebuilt it. Not many people would be willing to put that amount of work in. She is tireless, she is dedicated, and she loves this industry. It was also clear when we met that our visions for the future of education were closely aligned. We both knew that we could serve the industry better if the ELFA and the CLFP were closely affiliated. So yesterday we announced that we intend to enter into an affiliation agreement with the CLFP, which will continue under Reed's leadership. As part of this partnership, you can expect an enhanced focus on our campus to career programs, continuing to build on the work that we've piloted at University of North Texas and ASU, so we keep attracting new talent into the industry. Just like Macy, who you met yesterday. Wasn't she amazingly impressive? I am so excited to deepen our partnership, and I know that this is going to mean great things for all of you. Being affiliated with the CLFP is a cornerstone of our new framework for talent, which falls under three pillars: attract, train, and retain. We've put a huge emphasis on people and talent this year. It's obviously key to the success of the future of our industry. And I think that's shown through at the Power of People Summit. Not just because it was a successful conference, but because we were talking about talent in a brand new way. We had new voices speaking up, and we need to keep carrying this work forward. While we're talking about culture, I want to give a quick shout out to my own team. You know, the changes to our industry are moving at lightning speed, and it's their tenacity and dedication that have given our work a completely different look and feel. Our job at ELFA, and the job of everyone in this room, is to make sure, as the world changes, we build the future we want to see. Our momentum depends on it. We need to meet the future with the courage, confidence, and a renewed commitment to community. If we don't, we risk everything we have built so far, everything you have all spent decades creating. So my ask of you is this: connect with one new person at this conference to create the next generation of this incredible community. Take one new risk to embrace the future of technology, whether that's trying ChatGPT for the first time or leveraging an entirely new platform. And find one new way to give back to this community between now and our next convention. I want to finish by thanking each and every one of you for being here today and for making ELFA what it is. We couldn't put on these events, deliver the insights that matter, or lobby for the issues you care about without you. Like my memories of family parties or weekend getaways with my girlfriends, community is everything to me. And I feel so proud to be part of this community. And it's my commitment to you that we will keep fighting for what matters in 2026 and beyond. Thank you.
Don't you know that